In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Well, first of all, I should say something about how we came to be here and why we're doing this, and then kind of what we had in mind. Originally, the idea had come up of me debating somebody else on this topic, and that didn't end up happening, but
Lion, dog, face, pony show.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Running against...
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see, help out. If not, vote the other way. Give me a look them. And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see, help out. If not, vote the other way. Give me a look them.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television. an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
You're not like
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
It was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it, and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Really, how many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they said, "Ah, the hell with it, I'll move back in." You know, it doesn't sound like a very normal. You mean they moved out and what? They missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? Yeah, it's like it's crazy.
Well, and
Get back in the business of get back in the business get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. Jimmy Dork, Jimmy Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dork can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers, no more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, we got a dog over here. Max the dog. Maxie! He's taking a nap, but that's not happening on my watch. Max, come over here and say hello. Look at the dog. Say hello, Max. Oh my God, he is stretching. What an animal. Welcome, welcome, folks. This is Max the Dog Show featuring Goddamn Dog. Look at this. Check this out. Look at this animal. This beautiful baby. Hello. Come over here, buddy. Ah. Look at him. This is my baby. I will die for this baby. I will die for this baby. Look at him. He's huge. He's a big baby. You're so big. You're so big and I love you. Max is like, oh, that's enough. Oh, Max, you got my goddamn. You got my goddamn. You got my goddamn, Max. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Are you fucking seeing this? Look at this goddamn dog. Are you seeing this shit? Is this visible on stream? Is this visible on motherfucking stream? I love you. Look at his ears. Max, you got ears. Where did they come from? You have ears. Look at him. I love this dog. I'm going to be honest, folks. I mean, this goddamn dog. This dog saved my life. Let me tell you, without this dog, I'd be pretty sad right now. Look at him. Look at him. Wow. You are beautiful. Gorgeous creature. The show's not going to start until Max decides to move. I don't know what else to tell you. But if he's comfortable sitting here... Wait. Alright, he's on the move. Alright. Folks, we got a goddamn today. Some would even classify this as a motherfuck. We got a goddamn motherfucking goddamn. A goddamn son of a bitchin' cocksucking damn. Fuck. A cock, suck, and a motherfuck? So, folks, I want to make a slight announcement. That was not a joke. I just happened. Okay. So I want to make a slight announcement. Today's show will be a little bit shorter than average. Also, there may be some things brewing, not to be confused with coffee. There may be some brew-related activities that may impact my schedule in the next week to 2 to 7 to 12. I don't know. Details are sparse. They are not. They're sparse. We have sparse amounts of details as of this current moment. My team is currently investigating. There's an investigation underway. From my team. In fact, I'm just going to announce it now. I've got a task force currently engaged in monitoring the situation that's brewing. And so it may or may not affect my schedule. If it does affect my schedule, I will let you know. But if it doesn't, then don't worry about it. But as a result, today I may be doing a slightly shorter show. And we'll see where it goes from there. But just throwing that out there, so be aware that there's a developing situation. The task force is monitoring. We have the task force engaged, and the task force is corresponding with the team, and the team is reaching back to the task force to, reach a consensus on the correspondence between all of the various parties. They're actively engaged in monitoring the situation as it develops. There's a developing situation, and it's developing, and so, I'm just leaving it up to the task force right now. But either way, I will keep y'all posted. Well, we got a task force on it, so, they've been forced with the task, and so I don't know what the fuck, but yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, no one in the stream made the team. I apologize, but we had no positions that we had open that we needed to fill. But either way, as a result, my schedule may be impacted by a developing situation, and so if that is the case, there will be some drastic shifts in content on the channel that in comparison to what was originally planned. So just throwing that out, it's possible. Now it's not confirmed, but it's possible. So just getting y'all primed and ready. Priming it up. Only the best people are on the task force. Absolutely. Alice LeVay deleting messages. Is this a cover-up? Is this a fucking cover-up? What the hell's going on?
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups.
What is going on? I'll bring Bud if I get on the task force. Well, you should just bring it anyway. And then we can distribute that amongst the task force. I am fucking hungry. Anyway, so I'm going to do a relatively short show. I'm probably going to cut this by 11. So let's get this shit on the goddamn. Let's start it, folks. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's goddamn motherfucking go. I'm going, folks. It's happening. It's fucking happening. I'm going. It's fucking happening, folks. God damn it. It's fucking. Let's go. We're going. It's happening. We're going. All right. Fuck. So yesterday was day 175 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City in the county of Pasquotank County, North Carolina, over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. that occurred on April 21st, 2021. Yesterday, we did a longer demonstration throughout the entirety of the heart of downtown Elizabeth City with our megaphones chanting for justice. Now, again, I want to remind everyone of the key details here. A pickup truck full of Al-Qaeda-looking motherfuckers with machine guns traveled into Elizabeth City and shot and killed someone in the back of the head as he was escaping the assassination attempt. He was shot and killed in the back of the head on a street that contains an elementary school, and several stray bullets hit their own vehicles, the KKK's vehicles, that is to say, and several stray bullets went into nearby houses. And so it is a severe problem. Now, let's assume, all right, the shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. is the most justified thing in the world. That does not even come close to clearing any of those officers of the conduct that they did when shooting in a school zone at 8:30 in the morning, when it comes to shooting into nearby houses, when it comes to shooting at each other. So let's assume, again, for the sake of argument, Andrew Brown Jr. deserved it. All right, I disagree with that, but either way, the idea that they're not having any charges for shooting at innocent bystanders? Are you joking? Shooting at each other? Are you joking? Is that a joke? Needless to say, obviously, the assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. was unjustified. It was horrendous. It was an act of violence, and it was disgusting. So the fact that Andrew Womble, who is currently the district attorney of Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County and the broader area, is just trying to sweep this under the rug is just horrendous. It is such a blatant lie. It is such an open cover-up that I cannot even believe that it's really happening. This seems like something that they would try to do in like the 1960s before the internet existed, except the internet exists. We can see what their conduct has been. We can look up their past conduct. We can see the escalation from start to finish. We can see everything from the start of this movement up until now, and they're still trying to cover it up. It is unbelievable to me. And also, again, who owns the police force? Who pays for the police force? The government. How does the government get money? Taxes. We are their employers. Why can't we review the footage? What's the point of having body cameras on police officers if the footage isn't public? Huh? The whole point of body cameras was so that they would know that their actions are recorded, and they would think twice. If you just don't publicize the footage, then there's no reason to have body cameras. It nullifies the entire point. So again, we're looking at some stupid-ass motherfucking bullshit here in Pasquotank County. Corruption from top to bottom. Every city official, every county official is either garbage, scumbag, or just a useless motherfucker, a pawn, a cog in the machine. And now, there's a lot of bullshit going on in Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of scandals, there's a lot of bullshit going on because for probably the first time in Elizabeth City's history, there's a very, very hefty light being shined, or shown. Is it shine or shoned? Shined? The Shining? Anyway, it's being, cast upon, a spotlight is being cast upon the corruption in Elizabeth City and Pasquotank County for the first time probably ever. And so we're dealing with a situation where so many scandals are coming around, so much corruption is blatant, people are just lying on camera for just no reason whatsoever. And it really seems like things are all falling apart here. And at the end of the day, what we really are desiring is a government that works for the people, a government that is not actually paid to assassinate people, a government that instead maybe should be using those tax dollars on helping people that are in distressed situations, maybe helping the food security problem, maybe helping the medical problems going on, and maybe lowering the electricity prices that are being just exorbitant in Elizabeth City. There's a lot going on where our tax dollars could be spent instead of being spent on hit squads, assassination gangs, and criminal syndicates. And so that's what we're out here marching for. We're marching for a system that works for us and not one that tries to assassinate us and just shoots into random people's houses on the same street of an elementary school at 8:30 in the morning when there are children outside. That's just not a system that's sustainable. It's not going to work. And so we're out here making sure people understand that it's not going to work. "19 minutes of preamble?" Well, of course. I mean, we got to have some preamble. And we're going to have some post-amble, too, so don't worry about it. So anyway, we got some goddamn. I want to touch upon this because this seems to be a brewing story. This seems to be a very, this is a right-wing thing spreading like fucking goddamn wildfire. And so I wanted to touch upon this. So let me get a little bit to set this up. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, so folks, there's a lot going on here. So I want to be very clear that there is a lot going on in this story. This is being spread like motherfucking wildfire in right-wing circles. There is very little actual information. There is extremely little actual information. There's extremely little evidence, and there's extremely little logic in this story being spread like wildfire. And so there's Fox News did several segments on this, and I want to play this, and I want to respond to a lot of the claims being made here, because a lot of this, folks, is bullshit, and a lot of this, people are trying to tie this story into the struggle for trans rights in this country, as if this has anything to do with transgender people. And so I really want to point out just how horrible this whole thing is, and how giant the propaganda machine for the right is, and how it is still working, chugging along just fine without Donald Trump. So anyway, there was a situation in Loudoun County where apparently, according to reports, now again, there's very little information. So from what I understand, there was a school board meeting where someone wanted to talk about how their child was sexually assaulted in a bathroom. And so they're trying to claim that it's because of transgender people, but I don't think that there's any transgender people involved. It doesn't seem like there's any transgender people involved in this whole situation, but they're trying to make this into a big anti-trans story. So let's watch.
According to new reporting in the Daily Wire, a 9th grade girl was sexually assaulted at Stonebridge High School in Loudoun County, Virginia in May. A boy allegedly wearing a skirt apparently...
Now again, according to the story, it says a boy allegedly wearing a skirt. What does that mean? Like, is there evidence of that? No. Like, what does that mean? And also, what does that have to do with transgender people? Seriously, I'm asking, like, what is that? It sounds like they just made that detail up to me. Like, Max! It sounds like they just made the detail up to make this a giant anti-trans story. Yes, it is horrible when people get sexually assaulted in bathrooms, right? I've been in situations like that, and I'm trans. So what does that tell you about this whole thing? It also tells you, right, that sexual assault happens, and we need to work on that. We need to raise a society of men and boys that don't fuck around like a bunch of fucking lunatics, right? When you look at sexual assault, right, it is far more likely for a man to sexually assault someone than a transgender person. I'm just sorry. It's just facts. I'm sorry. Disproportionately by a giant percentage. But again, they're going to try to make this an anti-trans story, even though there's no trans people involved.
Apparently went into the girl's bathroom and sexually assaulted this girl. The boy was arrested for forcible sodomy, and the counts are horrifying. This month, the boy was arrested again for allegedly assaulting a different girl at a different school. At a school board meeting in June, the superintendent of Loudoun County Schools, a man called Scott Ziegler, said the school board had no records of this assault. You should know that at the same moment all of this was happening, the man who wanted to report the sexual assault of his daughter in a bathroom by a boy wearing a skirt, at that same moment, the same school district was pushing a policy for students identifying as, quote, transgender, and would allow students to use any bathroom they want.
So again, look how they're trying to... So the allegation, right, unproven, is that a man was wearing a skirt, or a boy, rather, right? Like, it's not a trans woman went into the bathroom and sexually assaulted someone. That's not what happened. It is a boy, allegedly, with no proof whatsoever, wearing a skirt, whatever that means, by the way, like, I don't know what that means, went in and sexually assaulted someone. If they're a boy, where's the trans people involved? What does this have to do with transgender people? Again, it's horrible that this happened, but the idea that they're going to try to turn this into a giant anti-trans brigade, I saw this start yesterday, and it's already on Fox News. That's how the propaganda machine works in this country, right? Things can get from the internet, like, to Fox News within a matter of hours. And now this morning, it's a giant story.
Essentially, did we characterize the story correctly? Is that what you think happened?
Yes, this story is one of the most disturbing I've ever worked on. It raises the possibility that the Loudoun County Public Schools covered up the rape of a 14-year-old girl at the hands of a boy wearing a skirt in order to pass a school policy that Democrats were adamant about passing. And as a result of concealing that, a second girl was raped last week. And to prevent all of this from coming out, potentially, they arrested the father of the victim, tried to put him in jail, and he's now the face of domestic terrorism, listed individually by the National School Boards Association, all for coming to that meeting. He didn't come to that.
So I want to be very clear, right? That sounds horrifying. And that's the thing about this is a sad story. And this is a story that normally we should all be unified in saying, God damn, this sucks. But for whatever reason, Fox News and the right want to make this a giant anti-trans story when there are no trans people involved, right? And that's the thing about this. This is just fascinating to me. It's like there's no trans people involved, and yet it's the trans people that have to suffer as a result. Right? Like, that's the thing. And that's what it always boils down to. Cisgender people do bad things, and transgender people have to pay the price. And that is not fair to anybody. That's not fair at all. And let's assume it was a trans woman. What does that have to do with 99.9999999% of other trans people that don't do these things? Right? But there is no transgender person involved in this story as it's reported right now. Right? And so that's why it's fucking fascinating. Now, again, the school participating in a cover-up, that's horrible. Right? For the reasons, I don't know what the reasons are. We can't prescribe intent to that. It seems like, again, when the right wing is using the propaganda machine this heavily and this quickly, it's really important to not really assume any of these details are correct. Wait until there's further investigations on this one, because you just can't trust Fox News. I mean, like, and just for the eventual right-wingers that are going to hound this segment, I don't trust mainstream news in general, right? So, but either way, when you see propaganda go from, like, the fucking, from the farm to the table this quickly, there's something fishy going on.
Meeting because he's a bigot. A lot of people thought they knew that guy. They trotted out his picture, his embarrassing picture with his belly hanging out and his bloody face. They all thought they knew him. They knew nothing about him. This was a caring father who was involved because of something very personal that happened to his daughter. And if they would have shut up and listened to him for 30 seconds, they would have been heartbroken. Instead, they demeaned him, they arrested him, and they tried to put him in jail.
So anyway, we have another clip where they're talking about it on all the shows, Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham.
This has been a crazy 3 months, but basically my daughter was sexually assaulted at the end of school in May of last year, and I went to the school board meeting, to see what was going on because I had seen all this crazy stuff on TV.
And think about this situation again. This father, assuming the situation is legitimate, right, which I have no reason to assume it's not legitimate, right, this father is suffering, right? Their family is suffering. And now their suffering is being used for profit and to further a propaganda campaign. Now, this father may very well be an anti-trans bigot, and they very well may be trying to use this story to attack transgender people on a personal level. But either way, imagine the scenario where your family is suffering, and then giant mainstream news moguls like say, "Oh, you want to, we'll give you $0, but we're going to use your story, your family's tragic suffering, and we're going to profit off of it, and we're going to use it in our propaganda campaign and crusade against minority rights in this country." Like, imagine the exploitation going on here on behalf of Fox News against this family. That kind of shit really fucks with me.
To see what was going on after my daughter had been assaulted, and there was some crazy stuff being talked about, people for things, against things. I wasn't there for any you know, I'm good with gay people, cross-gender people, everybody, anybody who wants.
So, okay, that's it. I haven't watched this clip yet. So, again, this guy seems like he's just being exploited. Like, he just happened to go to a school meeting where they were talking about a specific subject, and he just wanted to have his own concern be raised, right? So it seems like, I don't know, it seems like this guy is just being exploited and manipulated, and this whole thing is just really unfortunate and really tragic. And again, right-wing propaganda, right? Really, 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 really disgusting stuff that they're going to exploit this person to use for their crusade against minority rights in this country.
Cross-gender people, everybody, anybody who wants to be a good American, I'm good with. I went there to find out why our children weren't safe. We were under the impression from the prosecutor that this sexual predator was being held on in-house arrest with an ankle monitor and would not return to school until these court sessions were done. That if I wanted justice for my daughter, that I needed to keep my mouth quiet and not speak out, because in order to get justice for my daughter, which is the most important thing to me, of course, was to not come out and let justice prevail.
See, now I have a problem with that. Like, this story sounds horrible, right? And that's the thing about it, is that, like, it is such a clearly horrible story that anyone who sees this is going to go like, God damn, this is horrifying. And then when Fox News and the right-wing propaganda machine is going to use this story to insert like a fake solution, right? Yes, yes. Right? A cisgender boy sexually assaulted a presumably cisgender woman, right? Let's turn that into, we hate the trans people. What? Like, not a sensible narrative, right, that they hate, like, toxic masculinity and rape culture, because they're anti-rape culture. They hate the idea that men and boys, maybe society isn't raising them correctly. Maybe they're a little bit out of control. Maybe, it's possible. They hate that idea, even though that is way, way more of a culprit than any, like, there is no trans person involved.
That's really scary, you know, that our government is going to weaponize themselves against parents, and they're using my video across the nation to spread fear. That's wrong. I'm not a bully. I'm not a racist. I love everyone. I love this country.
All right,
and Scott, I want better stuff for it.
So again, this person in this video says he has no problem with trans people, but his story right now is being circulated like wildfire online and far-right spaces as a way to attack trans people. If you look at all the reporting on this, everyone's like, oh, the trans people have to go. They can't be in the back. There was no trans person involved. So, what? It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And imagine being in that father's position. You want to go on the news. You want to talk about your story. You want to make sure people know that there's a cover-up going on. But imagine the price you feel like you have to pay. Like, my story is going to be used to attack and further a hate campaign against millions of people. All I want to do is make sure that my daughter gets justice. And now I'm being manipulated by news media, and my story is being used in culture wars to attack millions of people who did nothing wrong, right? Imagine what he's going through. He probably doesn't understand the implications of this. He probably is just more so interested in justice for his daughter, which I understand. If I were in this situation, I would want to go on the news media to discuss this situation, right? And that's the thing about it that's really just disgusting from top to bottom, is the right-wing news media will do anything, and they will stop at nothing to make you hate people that you know nothing about, that you've never met. That's Fox News. That is the right-wing propaganda machine. And this all happened in about 24 hours. This story went from no one knowing anything to all over Fox News within 12 to 24 hours. It's ridiculous. And again, I hope that the father gets justice. Whatever's going on in the school boards, whatever's going on with this cover-up is ludicrous, to be honest. But either way, The alleged details with the skirt or whatever. Where does that come from? Who made that allegation? I don't know. Either way, it's ridiculous, and the whole thing is ludicrous. And again, let's assume the story is true, which I have no reason to believe it's not true. There's no reason at all to believe that the whole situation never happened as it is. There is no reason at all to believe that trans people have anything to do with it either, right? But again, the idea that the news media is going to use and abuse people like this just for their own personal political gain is just ridiculous. So I needed to weigh in on that one. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of Gabriel Adkins, and if someone, and I'm just putting my own personal thing out there, if someone's going to attack me because I disagree with political assassinations, I'm definitely not going to resign from my power. I'm going to keep my power and use my power to prevent further political assassinations. I mean, that's what I would do, but... Catherine, I understand what you're saying. That being said, I'm trying to cover my bases here. How's everyone doing? So, of course, we have to talk about this one. Like, you got to, right? There's no way that we're going to be able to get through this show without talking about this. And somehow I missed this one yesterday, but it's all good now. Charlie Kirk was owned. Let's watch.
Do you truly in your heart...
Hold up. Hold up the audio. The audio, folks. This motherfucker. All right, let's watch.
Heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being. This...
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus.
So let me...
Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. This is how simple it is. But, quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin... In life, you confuse dolphins for human babies often.
So let me
You go to SeaWorld and you're like, someone's got human babies in that aquarium.
So, I mean, Charlie Kirk got epic owned. I mean, this is like a classic one. This is one of my favorite ways to tell how stupid someone is. These are the people that, like, the pro-life, anti-abortion motherfuckers are the least scientifically literate people on the planet. I'm telling you this right now. They know nothing about how babies are made. They know nothing about how, like, pregnancies work. They know nothing about what a fetus looks like. They know absolutely fucking nothing. And they just want to use all of this as an excuse to regulate people that they don't like. That's it. They want to have power, and their power fantasies revolve around regulating people's bodies that aren't them. Because they're having their own bodily autonomy. That's not enough. They want autonomy over other people. They love that kind of mindset. And the anti-abortion crowd really is just a perfect fit for them. Right? Like, again, this is like the whole thing is just, I'm going to play it again. All right. It's just really funny. Like, it's just, again, if you knew anything about how life works on this planet, you would know, right? You might not be able to tell what kind of fetus it is, but that's the point, is that you can't tell because it's not a human. At 6 weeks, a human embryo is not a human being. And to treat it as such is stupid.
Do you truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being? This...
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus.
So let me...
Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. This is how simple it is. But, quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin... In life, you confuse dolphins for human babies often.
So let me
You go to SeaWorld and you're like,
I love how
someone's got
Charlie is
human
just, like,
babies in that...
looking. He's like, as he's getting brutally owned... Right, as he's getting brutally destroyed on live television, he's just like... Like, it's amazing. It's really good stuff. So again, I mean, like the whole thing here is just, it's so funny. Like, I really, like, and also, I don't know who Ben Glebe is, but he sounds awesome. Like, I might subscribe to this guy's show. I love the delivery here. It's really funny. And also, if Charlie Kirk is going on shows to get owned, can I get Charlie Kirk on my show? I wonder if that's possible. But anyway, again, I just wanted to play this clip because it's really funny. And again, you need to know that these pro-life, so-called pro-life dumbass motherfuckers, really all they're about is they want control over other people. That's it. That's it. Like, and also, life begins at conception? Why? Why? Why does life begin at conception? Right? If someone masturbates, that should be illegal. And the same mindset, if something could become a human being, theoretically, it's sacred. So you can't masturbate anymore. Sorry, it's just not allowed. Or if you do, you have to do it in some sort of like machine or a tube or something so you can save the life essence. And then also, imagine what the impregnation whole like process is. It's just like, it's only one sperm cell that gets in there. What about the other ones? They're sacred. Life is sacred, motherfucker. We gotta like go in there, claw them out, and use them for someone else. Right? Again, the whole argument is ludicrous. It revolves around nothing that's even scientifically literate. It's just like a giant disaster scenario. And all they want to do is control other people. Plain and simple. Because they're dumb fuck motherfuckers. That's all I've got to say. Also, life isn't sacred. I just want to throw that out there. Life is also just not sacred. Like, just... my personal opinion on top of everything else I just said, I don't think life is sacred in that sense. Like, I do personally, as a person, think life is sacred. I do want to protect the planet, protect species, and all that stuff. But I don't think that we should be doing these bizarre things where we're like going out there and saying that all life must be cherished at all times, no matter what. I think that, yeah, life sucks. There's going to be a lot of things that die. But again, I'm pro-life when it comes to animals. I'm pro-elephant, for example. I think elephant life is more sacred than human life, personally. But I mean, there's a lot of dumb fuck motherfuckers out there that are humans. And I'm going to be honest. I'm at a point in my life where I don't value human beings that much. I'm going to be like, there's a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there. Like, I think humans have great potential, but Lord have mercy, man. We're fucking it up. We are just a bundle of cells barely holding it together. Yeah, we're fucking, we're scraping, like, we're like one hand on the goddamn fucking cliff. Like, we're falling off any minute now. Am I pro-dolphin? Hell yeah. I love dolphin. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up today's show. Like I said, there's a developing situation. We've got a task force, and so this may impact the schedule that I've got right now for the show, for protesting, for a lot. There's a developing situation. For, the Spook 5 Killer will probably be impacted, assuming that the situation develops in a certain direction. I will potentially either make an update video once I have definitive details, or I will post on Twitter. Can you ask a random question? Sure. Or I will post on Twitter about this. But either way, I've got some stuff going on, so I'm going to end the show early. I appreciate y'all for I don't, Goddamn. Goddamn. Let me see if I can get Max up here. Max! Max! Maxie! 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 Wah! Wah! Maxie! Look at him. Look at him. Do I remember when I went into Let's Get Pitted stream a few years ago and beefed with that one mod? I remember And he promptly unmodded that dude. That sounds familiar. Are you that person? Is that you? I think about that every so often. I don't remember why. What happened? Like, I remember I went in there and argued with some guy for being stupid. That's actually super funny because I was just playing Resident Evil 4 like last week. You were just a lurker, and then 4 years later, here you are. Well, hopefully you enjoy the Above It All broadcast, EEF. I appreciate you for reaching out. If you have any more questions, or if you remember any more details, I would love to know. Hello, Daniel Johnson. Goodbye, Daniel Johnson, and goodbye, everyone else. I'll keep you all informed.
8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls. I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Everybody comes in your grandmother. 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 Come. Everybody comes in your grandmother.